Welcome. You're watching Fairfield Public Access Television. I'm Susan Kessel. Today we have with us Rustin Lippincott.
Hello.
Hi. You are Fairfield's new CVB. Now, lots of times when people hear CVB, they say, what is that? And it's Convention and Visitors Bureau. And you were just took this position recently.
Yes, I started the first Monday of February 5th. So I've been here almost a month, and I'm very excited to be here, Susan, and thank you for the opportunity to come on the program and meet the community. So I'm excited to be here.
That's something that we wanted to do. Our previous CVB was Lucy Ismert, and she was very good, but she didn't get a chance to get out in the community as much, and I hope that that's something that you can do more. And I know we've talked already about possibly having a maybe monthly show with you.
Sure. Well, and that's been a point since I've got here in Fairfield, is that I want to meet with as many people as I can, because I believe tourism and welcoming visitors is a team approach, and the more input I can get from the various stakeholders and the players of Fairfield, the better feel I can get for what our message and what our attractions are in Fairfield.
Yes. And that'll be a fun thing to do, I think, promoting Fairfield to the rest of the world. And the CVB position was created, I'm not exactly sure how long ago, 2-3 years ago, and it is with the money from the hotel motel tax provides for that, for promoting for your position and any staff, which I'm sure you wish you had more.
Sure. Well, and I'll just kind of reemphasize what you said. When someone comes into Fairfield, they spend the night at one of our hotels or bed and breakfast, and they're charged a lodging tax. That lodging tax goes to the state of Iowa and comes back in the form of our budget.
Okay.
So we take, and it's the intentions of the state and the intentions of the Fairfield Convention and Visitors Bureau, that money is reinvested in new attraction development, promotions, to put together a message and a picture of Fairfield to attract visitors in the form of just their leisure visitors, say you and I that would come to Fairfield, or group tours, and to help foster events that other groups, for example, the Society of the Fairfield Italians.
Yes.
Groups like that, and that's something I'd like to touch on sometime, is the grants that the Convention and Visitor Bureau offers. But so we take some of that money that comes in the form of the tax revenue, and we reinvest it in the community. So there's quite a few different components of what the Visitors Bureau does, but in general and plain English, it's just used to promote and reinvest in the attractions that make Fairfield a good place to visit and a good place to live.
Exactly. So CVB is fairly new to our community, but Fairfield's a wonderful place and growing and lots to do. It's busting at the seams with everything that's happening. I think it's a great time for you to be coming on. So there is a CVB board, and I don't want to mention all their names because I'm afraid I'll leave someone out. I know Dave Neff was chairman this past year and is no longer, but it's a several-person board member.
Yeah, and Dave Neff was very instrumental in the interview process. He was my contact person, and then I, in fact, met the board for a day-long interview, and we ate here at the restaurant in this building, which was an interesting experience for me. It kind of sold the idea of Fairfield to me when I was looking at where I wanted to continue my career, coming from Illinois and doing the tourism there. I knew that this was the type of community that I wanted to A, live in, and B, work in. So Fairfield had all the different components that one looks for when they're looking to relocate, as far as quality of life and the attractions and location and just a variety of the opportunities.
That says a lot when you want to come and live here. So let's talk a little bit about you. So the Fairfield community feels like they know
Sure.
you. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Fort Madison and competed against the Fairfield Trojans in football and baseball and wrestling. So
I bet you played against my son.
I probably did. In fact, one of the first days I was here, I was eating lunch on the square, and I was walking, and I was asking someone for a certain type of restaurant. It was the Maid-Rite shop, Just Right.
Oh, yes.
And this guy was there, and he said, "I know you." Well, it turned out to be Shay McCabe, who I wrestled with, 10 years ago. So it was.
I think I do remember on rosters seeing your last name. Lippincott is a name that you remember.
Sure. And then many of the viewers may remember Warren Repp, who was in charge of the utilities here,
Yes.
relocated to Fort Madison, and his son Brad still lives here. But the youngest rep, Nate Repp, and I became instant friends when they showed up in Fort Madison. And so it was interesting to stop by Warren and Myrna Repp's house and tell them that I was coming to Fairfield.
Ah.
And they were excited and of course told me the neat things about Fairfield.
Yes, yes. So you grew up in Fort Madison.
I did.
A large family?
I did. I'm the youngest of four kids. I have three older sisters. So as your viewers can probably feel sorry for me, I had three older sisters always telling me how to do things and that everything I did was wrong. But I went to school in northern Iowa and worked in some advertising agencies and did some other nonprofit, then went to Nauvoo, Illinois, and did their tourism. And that's when I really found that this was the type of work, because it encompasses, marketing and public relations and a little bit of sales, because you're charged with selling selling Fairfield to the visitors and to prospective people that want to move here.
And you have a little girl.
I do. I have a 7-year-old daughter. So when I finally can find a house to move here, her and I will be coming, and she is in 2nd grade, and she just is the joy of my life.
And what's her name?
Her name's Jada.
Ah, fun. So
Yeah.
she'll fit right in this community, lots to do.
Yes. And we have a little dog as well, so her best friend is the dog. So I just finance the dog, she takes care of it, and we have a happy little family.
Great learning experience having
Yes.
a pet.
It is.
So you were in Nauvoo. What are some of the things that you had to do in Nauvoo?
Sure. Well, Nauvoo is a community that the main attraction is the Mormon history, because of the Nauvoo was where the Joseph Smith and Brigham Young brought their Mormon followers before they went to Salt Lake. So I was charged with taking some attractions that were geared primarily towards one segment of people and make it attractive to everyone. So it was interesting on how we were able to take the Mormon history and frame it and offer it so it was an American history destination, and that's what we were able to do. And Susan, it was interesting because also there they had a winery. So the
Yes.
different components of Fairfield, to me, led right into the different components of the different components of Nauvoo fit right into the different components of Fairfield. So I feel that transition will be smooth. And we had some great successes there, and I really enjoyed my time there, and it was just time to move on.
So what's one thing that you were really proud of, that accomplishment?
Sure. We were able to land different activities from the state. We had a bike ride that was sponsored by the governor's office, that we had an overnight stop in Nauvoo. And for those that aren't familiar with Nauvoo, it's a town of 1,000 people. So just the different components of bringing large attractions to a town of 1,000 people it was a challenge, and I coordinated different facets of that, and that happened 2 years in a row. Another thing, and probably the biggest thing that I'm proud of, is that in 2005 we had the largest percentage of increase in tourism expenditures. So what that means in English is the more money was spent from the year before, percentage-wise, than any other county in the state of Illinois, and that's taking in
Wow.
Chicago and downstate Illinois. So
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment.
it was something that, again, back to that team approach. It took a team effort, because we were bringing people that had strong religious differences, different views on tourism. We had a people there that didn't want to see Nauvoo grow, because growing to them meant losing some of their
Change.
identity. And very, very common in many towns.
Right.
That when change means a loss of a little bit of identity. It's not the town that they grew up in. It's not the town that their father grew up in. So that's always a tough pill for people to swallow. And coming in as an outsider to Nauvoo, you know, I respected that, but I didn't have those preconceived ideas of what the town used to be. And Susan, I hope it's not too idealistic, but I hope to bring that same mentality to Fairfield. You know, Fairfield's seen a lot of changes in the last 25 years.
It has.
And-
It's been up and down and all around, and it's always been very strong, I think, culturally. Even reading history about Fairfield, it has had opera houses and Chautauqua days and a lot of things in our history that have always been cultural, and it seems to just continue, and it's really blossoming right now.
And those things you speak of are the things that, when I was looking for a community to move to, you know, it has the small town feel, it has the culture, like you said, and from what my short time here, it has the people that just make Fairfield a neat place to live. I mean, there is a diverse group of people, and you look at the population, this is an oddity, and it's a unique community.
It really is, and it's a wonderful place to live. I've traveled, and I'm always glad to come back to Fairfield. It's home, but it's got a lot of flavor, wonderful places to eat. It's renowned for that.
Yeah.
And its galleries and opportunities, the bike trails, the Jefferson County Park system, the Park and Rec, the library, swimming pool, and the upcoming Civic Center. It's just got a lot going on. My son just moved back to town, and he's about your age, and I think that's what we need to do, is we need to be growing and progressive, or we will die out. We want our young people to come back, and for you to want to move here says a lot.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I truly mean that Fairfield is a community, and being in Illinois tourism for the last 3.5 years, I see, I saw, and I continue to see how towns are struggling to survive, how to keep their tax rates low, and how they're jockeying and struggling to position themselves as a place to be attractive for prospective residents, prospective people to move in, prospective visitors, investment, and I think with the new wave of energy that's coming through the Chamber of Commerce with their new person and the economic development, I think Fairfield is in for some exciting times, and I ask for the community's support in these new ideas, because coming in as a new person, I respect the past traditions, but I also think that if we want Fairfield to be a place 25 years from now that's still a place that people love to call home, that we need to embrace some of that, some of the ideas of change that, and believe me, I know what it's like for some people, because it was tough for people where I came from, and it was tough for my parents to see Fort Madison, Iowa change. So.
Yes. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize a lot of traditions, and sometimes look at young people and think, oh. So I hope you're very young, my son's age, and the new chamber exec is even younger.
Yeah, I'm going to be the old guy at the office now.
So it'll be very interesting, speaking as an older person. It's nice to have your young, energetic, I'm wearing out a little, energetic enthusiasm, but I guess I also hope that you have some mentors in the community, and that the exec director does too, with the chamber and the FIDA board. They're older established members, that we can mentor you and you take the good things that we have to offer and listen to some of what we have to say as you're new coming into the community, but yet I hope that we can turn you loose too, with your energy and ideas.
In the short time that I have been here, I have met some wonderful people that have been lifelong residents of Fairfield. So I'm trying to take it all in and learn from the people that came before me and that continually drive the community. When I first got here, I met with the Manufacturing Association, and it was really interesting to see how these people view Fairfield.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're very dependent upon Fairfield and their workforce here to make their products and to keep their company afloat. So, Fairfield has a variety of components that I think all need to be communicated amongst the groups. And so everybody has an input, and I think that we will all the different facets of the community will move forward proactively.
That's great. There are a lot of pieces, and everyone plays an important part in our community. Some are quietly working behind the scenes. Some are more vocal and active, but they all play a very important part. And I think listening to older organizations, community members, is very important. The history does play an important part, and you can learn a lot.
I agree with you that the people that the experience, you can't replace or beat experience.
Yes.
So people that have the life experiences of Fairfield, I'm leaning on them, because there's a lot of things and the learning curve is very steep.
And I'm sure you have lots of new ideas going to school. You've learned, studied, that will be really interesting to some of us, in ways to market our community. And I wasn't involved in the interviewing when you were interviewed for the CVB position, but what are some of the things that they asked you?
It's a good question. One of the things that Michael Halley, who's the current board president, he said, what separated you from the other candidates is that you showed not only what you could do, but how you actually did it and showed examples of it. And I look at tourism, and one of the, I guess, cornerstones of my philosophy of tourism is a regional approach. The more you can offer the visitor or prospective visitor as far as attractions and activities, that it extends their stay. And if you extend their stay, and when I say extend it, I mean by hours or by days or by extend the season. Most visitors come June, July, and August. If we can extend that shoulder season to include April and May, for example, or October and November, then we've expanded the ultimate, the end game of revenue. And the best way I've found, and we did it there, where I came from, was to kind of build the surrounding communities. So it was like a regional approach. You made your set of attractions larger, and it helps put, in this example, Fairfield in the southeast Iowa larger on the map.
Yes, I know the Civic Center going to CAT meetings in Des Moines to get our grant. We would see Atumwa there, Bridgeview. We would see the Eldon the Gothic group there, and so we learned little bits about their projects. And those tie in to what we have to offer. If we can get someone interested in the arts and they want to go see the Grant Wood, you get to go around and Bentonsport during their art seasons, and we start coordinating. I know the Civic Center's been visiting with Bridgeview. We want to work together. We don't want to be competitors necessarily, but plan things together, get people coming to our area. And to have you come on board at this time is just, it's perfect. It will enhance the whole thing, and working together with other communities, I think that's a big part.
And I think it's to me it's a very important part, and it goes along with the idea of working with the different groups of Fairfield. For example, the team tourism that I'm trying to rebuild. Sentiment kind of swayed a little bit in the interim time from when Lucy left to now, and that's one thing I'm hoping to do, is to try to rejuvenate and reinnovate people.
Yes.
To help, because it is a team approach, and the best advertising are the people in your community, because they're out telling their friends and family. And that brings me to another point that I hope to kind of infuse in the Fairfield feel, is be a visitor in your own backyard. How many people in Fairfield have never been to, let's say, an art walk, or have
Right.
never been to the trails, or it's been a long time since they went to the swimming pool or to the Chautauqua Park. You get what I'm saying. As far
Yes.
as reinvest your time and come be a part of what the activities are. And not everybody is going to be interested in all the activities in Fairfield,
Right.
but I would argue to say that about everybody will be interested in Fairfield. And if we can shape that message around pride in the community, then I think it will go a long way towards how we project ourselves to prospective residents, prospective visitors. So that's where I'm coming from, and Susan, I appreciate the opportunity to come here, but I encourage anyone to call me, to stop by, to email at the Chamber of Commerce Convention and Visitors Bureau office on Broadway. I want to meet as many people as I can and kind of look forward to the future together.
Yes, I like a lot of your ideas. You're thinking participate locally. The trails are a prime example. What they've done in our community around and trying to connect a circle around the community, and that's something that I just experienced last fall for the first time, and I think I just read where Tom was talking about doing theirs and doing a connecting through Eldon, and lots to do in our community, lots to promote. I'm excited that you're here.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here, and I look forward to working with the people to help make Fairfield grow.
Thank you. And we look forward to some future shows
Yes.
with you, talking about what the grants are through the CVB that maybe organizations and groups in our community can apply for. Different things going on, ways to reach out, how to join
Team tourism,
team
sure.
tourism, and
And some of the other things, Susan, that in future shows that I want to cover is, kind of the goals for the tourism. In this day and age where the internet activity is a strong marketing tool, we need to have a strong marketing presence on the web. We need to have strong print piece. They all need to play in concert with each other to have a consistent look and feel. So that's something I hope to do in the near future is to refine what our appearance is. The second thing is, and this is where I'm leaning on the community members, is who we are. In the past they've done some branding activities, and everybody's got something about Fairfield that they like, whether it be the culture, whether it be the food, whether it be the university, whether it be the trails. Those are all significant components of Fairfield. And I look to the community to help me define and refine our message, so we have some cornerstone ideas to build our message around. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm kind of in the fact-finding stage to help kind of decide who we are. And many of these things are already known because we were named a great place.
exactly.
So I want to take that, the excitement that's built off of that, and take it into the next phase of a kind of a marketing campaign of this is Fairfield.
And tying into that is part of the IO Great Places. One of the things that they're doing for the Great Places communities is the semi-trucks that travel around Iowa. I don't know if they go outside of Iowa, but they have so many trucks. They've allotted for the Great Places to do a big design on the truck, and that's happening right now.
Yeah,
You just issued.
This is a very exciting time for Fairfield. The alcohol distribution trucks that take alcohol to the liquor stores across the state, Fairfield will be given one of the trailers for 7 years.
Oh.
And we are looking at designs right now. We're working with the area designers to come up with a design for that. It's about a $60,000 investment from the state for the Great Place designation. So we're being very careful on how we're going to be portrayed, because 7 years is an important long time
Right.
to get that message out. So again, if anyone has any suggestions, I'm open to hearing any suggestions. But I think that is just the first leg of the good activities that are going to come from the Great Place designation. And, back to that consistent message, we're going to build right off from that into the web, into the print campaign, so we can kind of have the consistent look and feel for Fairfield.
Well, thank you, Rustin Lippincott, and I hope that very soon everyone will know what the CVB is and who it is and
Sure.
what you're trying to do, and when they see you on the street, they'll welcome you. And
Well, thank you, and
Fairfield-
thank you for the warm reception of the community. I really enjoyed it. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Rustin.